Hi, and welcome to a Drafthouse Diary for Thursday, January 9th, 2025, when I went to the Alamo Drafthouse at Sloan's Lake to see A Complete Unknown. Now, what did I like about this movie? It was anchored by some very impressive performances. Timothy Chalamet really embodies Bob Dylan in a way that is very compelling. He gives this character the presence that is required to make this story work. He's captivating to watch on screen, and that presence makes the reactions of the characters around him and the responses they have to Dylan believable and real. And if Chalamet's Bob Dylan is the body of this film, Ed Norton's portrayal of Pete Seeger is its soul. Norton delivers a profound performance, and the most powerful story in this movie is the sad journey in which Seeger meets this incredibly talented and earnest young man in 1961 and watches as in a few short years he becomes the lost, distant, self-absorbed character that Bob Dylan is by 1965. The movie does portray Dylan as being broken and lost in many ways by that time, but it also makes clear that he is by no means broken when it comes to the music, when it comes to his art. And that puts this very clearly into a common framework. That idea that the same energies that can give rise to amazing art are often completely at odds with being a decent and well-adjusted human being. We see that in so many artist biopics, and while it makes for a good story with all of the conflict that you need, it's kind of a sad message because I don't think it's necessarily true. And it's given generations of people this idea that to be an artist, you've got to be terrible to those around you. But that's a commentary from me about the story in general. It is well executed, and the characters are well portrayed on the surface. And that's my biggest problem with this movie. Too often, it is very superficial. It looks great, and to my eye, great pains were taken to get the look and the feel of New York in the early 1960s, the style and the atmosphere, getting that just right. But for a movie that is so much about the interior truths and conflicts and disappointments of these characters, I rarely felt like I was getting really any connection with that emotion. There are some very noteworthy exceptions. Norton's performance overall is an exception to that criticism. We really do see the emotional trial that this was for his character. But with Chalamet and with Elle Fanning and with Monica Barbaro and many of the other supporting performances, I just felt like I was seeing the outside of something that just hinted at something else very profound without ever really giving us a glimpse of it. That said, there is one line delivered by Chalamet as Bob Dylan that I think encapsulates so much about this character and about this story. It is a brilliant line, it is powerfully delivered, and in one instant, it elevated the entire movie for me. If you've seen this movie, please let me know in the chat what you think that line is. I'm not going to say it here. I want to know if other people picked up on that line in the same way that I did. And if for you it's a different line, I'd really like to learn that as well. Now it's time for the rest of my trip to the Alamo, but in the meantime, if you're enjoying this video, please click the thumbs up button. And if you want to see more of these Drafthouse Diaries as they come out, please click subscribe. The Alamo pre-show for this feature was very well done, though at first I thought it was just a generic pre-show not connected to this movie. It started out with a plate spinner on a variety show from the 70s or 80s, and it followed that with a commercial for Bugles. I didn't know at the time these were in fact tied into the movie. But after that, it really got into the Bob Dylan content. We got a trailer for the biopic I'm Not There. We got a long section, Big Screen Bob, about the movies in which Bob Dylan appeared. Things like Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid and Hearts of Fire and others. We also got a section on Bob Dylan parodies, which had everything from Walk Hard to a puppet version of Bob Dylan on Syphil and Ollie and several others. There was a long and detailed segment about Bob Dylan's famous video for Subterranean Homesick Blues and all of the other videos and film clips that it has inspired over the years. And in addition to the Bob Dylan content, we got some good stuff about Pete Seeger as well, including an appearance on CBC, a Pacifica radio appearance about the song This Land Is Your Land, and also we got a rare 1945 film of Woody Guthrie. Overall, this pre-show hit all the right notes. It gave us a lot of interesting context for the movie we were about to see, while at the same time giving itself an opportunity to show us things that were just entertaining in their own right. I did get some dinner at this visit to the Alamo. I got a pepperoni pizza. Not much to say about that. That's consistently good. As for the theater and the staff, it's the same story that it usually is at Sloan's Lake, an excellent staff working in a pretty rundown facility. But I very much enjoyed this trip to the movies, and I hope you've enjoyed this Drafthouse Diary entry. I'll be back soon with more. In the meantime, enjoy your movies, and when you do, stay till the end of the credits.